So technically last week we spoke about different joins, left join, full join, inner join, and we talked about different binds. Whereas today we're going to talk about different joins, but these joins are a little bit on the fringe, meaning that they are not necessarily often used too much, but it's still worth knowing. But then we'll talk about some pivots in the next video, and that's going to be really, really important. Alright, so cross join essentially finds all combinations based on two data frames. All possible combinations. So if you're taking calculus, it's like the Cartesian product of the two data frames. So here you just have a silly example: shirt colors. Let's say you work for a fashion company, right? And you're trying to figure out all the different combination of t-shirts regarding colors, polo and tank top, all the colors. Excuse me. All you have to do is a cross join, and that will fulfill that Cartesian product. Find all the combination between shirts and colors. Okay, and so you get all the combinations here. What's cool about this is, let's say for example, I'm gonna take all of this, and I'm gonna create another chunk here. Not like that. Create an arc chunk here. Okay. But instead, I'm actually going to do I can actually do another cross join. Okay. Meaning, let's say, for example, I'm trying to find all the combination of shirts, colors, and pants. Shirt colors, and pants. We'll do cross join again. Okay. And this time, I'm going to create a data frame within this cross join. Okay. And I'm going to name it pants. And that's not going to really make sense, but it's going to be shorts, short pants. Yeah, that makes sense. And long pants. And in here, before I even do this, I want you all to think how many combinations I should get when I run this. So here we have 9. Okay, so it's 3 times 4. Ideally, we should now have 18. Okay. When I run this, you see I have 18 rows, okay, of all the different combinations. Okay, so it's nice for you to know when to implement that this can be done. And then here you see some small trivial examples, and we'll see this in a little bit in detail in a moment. Suppose you're working for a software project that involves multiple programming languages and various operating systems. So you have programming languages and you have operating systems. And so what you would want to do is find out all the combinations of the different languages like Python, R, C++, and operating systems, Linux, Windows, iOS, and things of that regard. And you can use the cross product to do that. Cross join to do that. If you're designing a product, a new car, you see the different engine types as well as the different colors of the cars. You can do a cross product there, cross join there. Sorry, that cross product, we're not in Calc 3. And then here in psychology, you can do a cross join as well in terms of different types of treatments. So yeah. So then here, anti-join is, I have used this a lot, depending on the situation. Not a lot, but I've used this. And this particular technique it's more of a filtering technique rather than a particular join. Okay. And so what you're doing here is that you have one data frame that, you're interested in, right? And you want to see if, based on the data frame that you have, what does not occur in another data frame. Okay. And that makes absolutely no sense. But let's just see how this works with an example so that it can make more sense. Okay. You're a librarian and you have 2 data frames. Okay, great. One with a list of all books that you have in the library. Great. Book A, Book B, Book C. And then you have another data frame that actually has books that have been checked out. Just books 2 and 3. And so what we want is we want to have books that are still within the library, meaning that that's just book A. So what we'll do is we'll do an anti-join on all books versus books that have been checked out. And notice that you need the ID still. You still need the ID. So once you do that, you then get a result of book ID 1 in A. 1 entitled book A. Alright, so let's actually do this again. Let's, test it out ourselves. Okay, extend our knowledge. So when it comes to this particular example, let's say, for example, instead of 3, let's say it goes to 5. Okay, so you have book D, and you have book C. Your alphabetic manual. Okay, and so then here, what's going to happen if I run this now? Okay, so it's looking up based on book ID. So it's still looking for book 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 are technically checked out. So ideally, the resulting anti-join result should include book A, book D, and book E. So let's do that. Yay, it worked. Okay, so you can see that it includes the other books that we just added. Okay, notice I had to add the ID to it as well. To be able to figure out the books that are still in the actual data frame. Okay, and it's more like a referencing, referencing technique that filters based on a data frame to information. Okay, so going back to cross joins, here. These are the programming examples that I was referring to earlier. Programming in operating system, seeing all the different combinations there. I was just providing the table for them. Well, all these examples. Here you have engine types and body color, for example. And then the psychology example. Here you can do the different cross joins based on the technique and the patient profiles. And this is where I go a little bit details of what can be done with the anti-joins. So here, say for example, you want to figure out who has not actually placed an order. And so you have order table, you have a customers table. And so customers 1 and 3 have made an order. So if you actually do an anti-join here, you'll be left with just Bob because this 2 doesn't appear in the order data frame. In this particular example, if you're interested in customers who have not visited a website, okay, in terms of customer ID, you have customer ID 1, customer occurring ID 3. So Alice and Charlie have occurred. So Bob again will be seen as the resulting person who does not, who would show up in the final data frame because they have not appeared in that actual data within the visited websites table. And then finally here, we'll see that we want to refer out the salespeople who did not close the deal. We see that the sales ID A and C, these 2 people did close the deal, whereas B did not. So therefore, the resulting data frame will include just Brian. Okay, so that is it for cross joins and anti joins. I'll watch the next video to learn about pivot wide and pivot longer. Thank you.